It changes your life to be a caregiver. It's very, very difficult, very hard. I couldn't get my work going. I couldn't get momentum, Clark. I'll be honest with you, this is 5 years later, I'm still struggling. It's emotionally killing on you, draining. Financially, it's a nightmare. I mean, that daycare was $1,600 a month. Some of these places, if you have to pay for these things, Clark, the one in Punta Gorda, you're not going to believe this, it was $9,600 a month. $9,600 a month. There aren't many that are under 5. It's very expensive, and so how do you plan for that? What do you do? I mean, this thing happens in life on you, and so yeah, it's a tough journey, man.
Talk about when you had to make the decision that I can no longer do this at home.
Wow, I had the guys in my support group tell me this, and I you know, Clark, I didn't believe it, but they said, Len, it'll never be soon enough. It'll never be soon enough. You don't think that way right now. And I didn't. And I could have put Marsha in a year earlier. Pretty much. And Clark, I tried so hard. I've been married to her 41 years. We're high school sweethearts. She's my best friend. I mean, you know, think about it, 18 years old. I mean, you know, till 41 years, a long time. And I'll be honest with you, that first night, Clark, putting her in, I grabbed her little face and I said, honey, I can't do it no more. I've got to put you in a home where they can care for you. I can't, it broke me, it just killed me. The first night, you know what I'm saying? Is she warm? Are they taking care of her? Do they have her blanket on? I mean, it's brutal. It's brutal. And so yeah, it's a tough journey.
Yeah, so you had the advantage of this good support group.
Oh, I did.
And so we hear that a lot with the message, and we start talking about placement. And for many people, it's way earlier than they want to hear about it.
Yeah.
So you got that message about a year before you actually did it.
Yeah.
Describe that year, how she declined, or that time period where you were struggling to keep her home, and what that decline was like.
Well, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. It got so bad, Clark, financially. I was trying to make my business go, and I had to get her ready for daycare. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get her, bring her home. I had to cook. I had to do everything. And then at night, what would happen is she wouldn't sleep. She, you know, a lot of these patients, there's a little bit of Lewy body, Parkinson's, some of this, and she'd start twitching. Really bad. Well, as soon as she'd twitch, it'd wake her up, and guess what? Now she's up walking around the house all night. I can't sleep. I can't let her walk around the house all night. She may blow up the stove. She may try to cook something and cut. She did that once, you can't even let them cook. You can't let them cut vegetables. They'll cut themselves. So 24/7, you gotta be on the game, man. And it got so hard. And so what happened, I started going down this tube, man, and I started drinking wine. I started drinking too much. Okay, now I'm not, I have a couple glasses of wine. I mean, everything's fine, right? I've traveled all over the world. Man, I started numbing, right? Not good. Not good. And I realized, okay, Len, you are in trouble here, bud. You can't get nothing going. And so I called my son, I was in Texas at the time. I called my son, Brad. I said, I know I got to get family. I got to get some support. I got to get family around me. My dad's in Sebring. My son's here. My grandchildren are here. I knew I had to get here to Fort Myers and Naples area. As a matter of fact, I moved in with a pastor friend of mine in Naples first. And that's when I found out about you guys and what you guys here do at this network. I mean, you guys have been just phenomenal for me, helping me out. I mean, really, you can't do this journey without a support network. You just can't. You've got to have people that understand this, because most people don't understand this journey. And so I had to get back here, Clark, to get some help. And quite honestly, there were times when I thought, and I did for a little bit. A doctor helped me, put me on a little medication. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man, and where I'm at now even, I got to tell you the truth, buddy, I'm struggling, because now I've got to watch the worst part of this disease. And Marsha's in there today, just today. I spent all morning in the emergency room.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about what's just happened.
Yeah, I mean, just happened, and Marsha had a seizure. Part of this disease, you don't know what's going on with the brain. I mean, it's shrinking. As it shrinks, it takes bodily functions with it. Eventually they either choke or the respiratory shuts down. In the support group, we had one guy's wife just went blind. Another one came home. She was 3 years in, about the same as Marsha. Came home. Sat down in the chair. They took a walk together. Sat down in the chair. The brain said, "Stop breathing. Stop breathing." Marsha right now is totally incontinent. That'll happen eventually, normally. But again, one thing they teach you that this disease is different. It's the same, but it's different for everybody. Okay, different things happen to different people because again, it's the brain. Well, we went through a period of time as you go through again these stages. The personality changed. Like, I remember being I thought when I was doing the daycare, I was trying to maybe not pay as much, so I'd try to keep her with me. And I remember 2 times, but once I took her with me to a meeting that I had with a client, right? Well, the first meeting I had with a guy, I said, "Honey, you're going to sit over here. I'm going to get you a little muffin and some coffee or whatever, and I'll be right here. You'll see me, but just sit here." And I could watch her. I could see where she was. Actually, I had eye contact with her, right? But the guy, my client or my prospect, if you will, didn't know what was going on. And I'm just having this conversation with everything. We had a great conversation, went well, and he left, and I went up and went over with her, sat down, and it was great. Well, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I'll try it again. This time I try it. It happened to be a young lady, pretty blonde, good-looking gal, right? She could be my daughter. She was 26, I don't know, worked at a bank. Well, I do professional coaching, sales coaching, and motivational speaking. And so I thought, well, I was going to talk to her about coaching and coming in and doing some workshops for the bank. So we're having this discussion at Einstein Bagels in Texas. And you talk about personality. All of a sudden, I'm looking at Marsha. I had her sit. The whole thing was like I had before. And I'm talking, and all of a sudden I see her get up. And she's kind of really hoofing it over this way. And she goes, and she gives me the sign, and you're cheating on, and she's freaking out, and the whole restaurant is like, what? I mean, loud. And she runs out the door, and there's a highway out there. Oh my, and so now I'm going, I'm sorry, I got to go. That was my wife, and she's got Alzheimer's, whatever. And the gal said, oh, it's okay, my grandmother's had to go. I'm running after her, she almost got hit by a car. Oh my gosh. It took forever for me to tell her that wasn't true. So yeah, the personalities changed. She went through a stage where she was mean, aggressive. She actually got Baker acted from one of the facilities she was in. Just got angry. And, I don't know if that was being overdrugged with the wrong drug. I don't know but she just got violent. And then now, Clark, she's just so docile. She ate a whole cheeseburger, fries, Coke. I mean, she eats. Now, you almost have to help her now because she doesn't want to eat on her own, and they feed her only finger foods now. She can't use utensils at all. But again, you can feed them. But something happens to where, as this disease goes on, the weight just drops. And that's one of the signs that you're in the final stages, really, is that it drops and drops and drops. I have a do not resuscitate on Marsha. I've talked extensively to the doctor. He said, Len, it would just be cruel. The fact that she's going to go anyway, the fact that no oxygen to her brain's going to make it even worse. She'd come out of it worse, if that's possible. But the other thing is I won't put feeding tubes in her. I'm not going to do it. When it's time, it's time.